All right, welcome in. Now, this is our second time doing this. This is called Ricky Reacts, and you could like and subscribe down here. You can catch me, Bill Colorolo, Silvana Kelleher on Unfiltered on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. I'm here with Dylan McKinnon. Ricky Reacts is about Dylan asking me any question that he feels suited to do, and I'm going to try to answer it with the best of my abilities. But I will say this much. He may ask me something that I have no idea about. So you might get a really messed up answer from me that means absolutely nothing. So just bear with us. Go ahead, Dill.
Okay, so besides yourself, who's the best athlete at the station?
At this station, the best athlete, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with, do I say Bill Colorolo just because he's on my show? No, not going to do that. I'm going to go with Connor Thomas. Connor plays a lot of different sports. I mean, guy's playing street hockey now, plays a little bit of baseball. I know he plays basketball. He's kind of doing a little bit of everything. A little bit on the younger end still, not too young, but still on the younger end. And he's a pretty legitimate athlete. I'm not going to take that away from him. He could do different things. And when I think of athlete, I don't think of one sport. I think if I went to Bill Colorolo, the first thing I would think of is musclehead. So football, right? And he played football in college, which is great. But I'm sorry, Bill, and I know you're going to be upset with me, but I can't do it. I got to go with Connor Thomas. I don't even know if there's a second, to be honest with you. Andrew Schmandrew said he was in pain after playing baseball. He hurt something this past week.
He took a pitch
He took a pitch off of his finger. Come on, Andrew, be tougher than that. No.
Okay, number two. We don't get to see pitchers hit anymore unless you count Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
Back when they did, who is your favorite pitcher with a power swing?
Favorite pitcher with a power swing? Wow. I'll tell you one guy who he wasn't on the Phillies, but watching him, he had a pretty good swing, was Jacob deGrom. But on my team, I would say Robert Person. Robert Person, that's all he cared to do. He did hit 2 home runs in one game, and he ended up with 7 RBIs. And I'll tell you what, in that game, he came up with the bases loaded in like the 7th inning, missed the foul pole by about an inch for a grand slam. He would have had 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Would have been sick. But Robert Person, probably one of those guys that goes up there and swings as hard as he can. But I will tell you this much. Back in the day, we used to have these competitions. It was the starters against the relievers. For the most part, the relievers were much better hitters, much better swingers. We didn't get to go into games and hit as much. But batting practice-wise, we could rake. It was home run after home run by the relievers. As a matter of fact, I can tell you this much. Larry Boa back in the day was our manager. And what he did was make the relievers go to the opposite field and the starters could do whatever they want. Little bias there, Larry. Pathetic. Okay, Dylan.
Okay, so in Norway, recently there's a story where over 47,000 people were informed they won big money in the lottery.
That's a scam.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't a scam, but there was just some type of mistake at the lottery place, so they didn't get that money. If that happened to you, if you won the lottery, but then you were told, "Oh, sorry, you didn't win the lottery," how would you react?
I would be bitter. I would be absolutely bitter. They'd be getting a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, and I want to know why. I want to know what happened. I want to know why I'm not taking home $47 million. Obviously, or how much did you say?
It was a bunch of different people.
It was 47,000 people, though?
47,000 people were told they won more. They had like small winnings. So it was like they won like
then they won like the big jackpot.
But they were saying like, oh, they thought they were winning like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, I guess if you find out there were 47,000 people, you don't feel as bad. I guess if it was just one person, that person would be absolutely livid. And I think that would be a little bit of a problem for me, because to think that you won a ton of money. And I think in this day and age, though, the first thing you think if you're being told that you won a lot of money, I think the first thing you're going to say is it's a scam and you don't believe it and there's no chance of it. But when you go deeper into that, you get that feeling that you won something. It's like, man, you had to be pretty psyched there for a split second. And then all of a sudden you find out that you didn't win anything. I wonder what the timing was on all this. I wonder if it was like a week, 2 weeks that they told them that they didn't win. But I'm sure somebody went into that lottery place and asked for their money right away. And guess what? You're going out with diddly, nothing, nada. I'd be pissed.
It's a July 4th weekend, so that means fireworks.
Yeah.
Now, our friend and coworker, Ansha Tunis, went on a rant. You can see it on our YouTube shorts about how he hates the people who set off like their own personal fireworks. He doesn't think. What is your take on that? Do you think all of your neighbors setting off their own
All right.
fireworks? Are you a fan of that?
So when my daughters were young, usually people would light off fireworks pretty late at night. I think there should be a time limit on it. And the one thing about this is that, let's face it, Philadelphia, we're shooting off fireworks whenever the heck we want. That's what it really comes down to. People are going to do whatever they want. Now, you go a little further. He's got a little kid, Coop, right? He doesn't want Coop to be woken up out of bed. And that used to happen to my kids. And I'm talking like 3 and 1 years old, waking up to fireworks. The other thing is, I felt worse for my dog. My dog, Sydney, man, those fireworks, even if like we only heard them a little bit, dogs have that expanded hearing. Are you kidding me? That would freak out dogs left and right. That would bother me a lot. But I mean, I think you have to expect it. I think what's unfair is if it's July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, July 6th, if it goes on for a long period of time. I think you could deal with it on the 4th of July because I think a lot of people are just celebrating. They're having a good time. They're partying. Some people are drinking, and just be careful with them because you could blow a hand off. I'll tell you that much. And the other thing is that sometimes it's just inconsiderate timing wise. I mean, if you're shooting them off at midnight, you got a problem.
Okay. We just saw Clayton Kershaw reach 3,000 Ks.
Yep.
Who is the best starter of this quarter century so far? So since the year 2000?
Since the year 2000. It's got to be Clayton Kershaw. He's got to be the guy. Well, I will tell you this much. I've been doing this Phillies thing for I don't even know how many years, a long time. Okay, the pre and post games. I would get home if Clayton Kershaw was pitching. I would get home just to watch him pitch, and because he was that good, and he worked fast, nasty curveball, could spot his fastball wherever he wanted. I think he's gotten to the point now where he's not like that, but I think he was just Mr. Cy Young. I mean, I think every time he went out there, I think you expect him to win a Cy Young. And I guess if you go all the way back to 2000, Randy Johnson was still pitching. Curt Schilling was still pitching. Those guys were pretty legit themselves. But for a long period of time, you got to look to one guy. You got to look to the LA Dodgers. You got to look to Clayton Kershaw just because of how he has done it, where he's done it. He's done it out in LA. It's one of the biggest media places in the world. I guess Zach Greinke could be up there too.
What about Verlander?
Verlander, he's boring. He bores me.
I
think he was great, but he wasn't a must watch for me.
Does some of Kershaw's struggles in the playoffs, does that hurt his legacy at all for you?
No. I think, you know what? The playoffs are the playoffs. Some guys, you have a struggle in one game that could pretty much conquer your whole playoff atmosphere and your playoff statistics. So I don't take a lot into that. I mean, I guess a guy like I brought up Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, those guys in the playoffs were pretty dominant. And I think that only helps their legacy. I don't think it necessarily hurts a legacy. I think when people see you go off in the playoffs, they'll never forget that. Why? Because it's a wider realm of people watching the games. And I think that has more to do with, okay, it's a World Series. We're going to watch a World Series no matter where we are. And wow, did you see what Randy Johnson did? Did you see what Curt Schilling did? I think that really kind of steps up their value at the end of the day.
Okay. Final question. So it's a Philly Mascot Royal Rumble. Fanatic versus Getty versus Franklin versus Swoop. You can even throw Fang in there.
Okay.
Who's walking out on top? Which mascot?
I want to say the Philly Fanatic because he's probably the smartest out of the bunch. So I'll say he's got a fighting chance. Swoop has no shot. Swoop has no shot whatsoever. What's Swoop going to do? Hit you with his wing? That's not going to do anything. Now, Fang, he's got issues because he could bite you. And what happens then? You're done. You're absolutely done. Snake bites you, you're going down. So you got to watch his mouth. But I'll tell you right now, Gritty, because he's dirty. He's dirty. He'll take out shins. He'll try to rip fangs out. He'll do whatever he can to win. He lived in think about this. He lived down in the basement of the Wells Fargo Center. You know how many rats are down there and cats and whatever else you want to think of down there. I think he's tough. I think Gritty probably wins the whole thing. I think the Fanatic's a little bit more of a lover, not a fighter. So I got to take him out of it. I would go in this ranking. I would go Gritty number one because he would be a dirty fighter. You know what? The Broad Street bullies, all that stuff. He kind of tends to take that to heart. And I think just for the fact of how he grew up, I think the guy comes out of the rafters. I know the Fanatic has jumped, skydived, all that stuff. But you know what? I don't know. There's something about Gritty that you know that he's just dirty, and he'd be a dirty fighter, but he'd be the one that comes out on top. There you have it. Ricky Reacts from Dylan McKinnon. All right, you can catch me, Savannah Kelleher, Bill Colarulo on Unfiltered, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Don't forget to like and subscribe right here. Thanks for watching Unfiltered on YouTube. You could like and subscribe down here. You could also see our other shows over here. Go ahead and watch them all. We love when you watch. The one thing, hey, you could also catch us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.